Greetings, dear ones. I am Kryon of Magnetic Service. And there would be those who would say the transition is too smooth. That it's the man pretending in the chair yet again for his group. And if that is what you think, dear human being, then that is what you think. And there is nothing here in the room that is going to push and pull or persuade. For the human being and their free choice is honored above all things. There are many ways to discover the divinity inside. One of them is this way. By understanding that these messages could be significant, they come from the other side of the veil. They are angelic, if you can even define that. If you were to ask human beings if they would believe in a higher source, they would say yes. If you ask a human being what form that would take, they would be varied in their answer. And some of them would say that channeling is appropriate, and some would say it is not. The ones who would say it is not, however, would go into the forest first and take the hand of a tree and feel God inside. And there is no difference. Blessed is the human being who finds their divinity and the solace and the peace that they need in any way that suits them. And so it is not something that is presented for belief or for enjoyment. It is here to soothe that which needs to be soothed, to instruct that which needs to be instructed, to shake hands with a countenance that is divine within you. That is the purpose of the channeling of Kryon, of sitting in the chair. And before we begin the questions, I have only one thing to say. There is a connection between what you see outside, already know what is formulating in the consciousness of the potentials of the 11 who sit in the chair. It is not mind reading. For there is part of you which is an entangled state with all, that is to say, all is known. Not what you're going to do, but the potentials of what you might, based upon what is happening in your life, based upon what it is you bring to the table, as he say. We know the issues of the moment. And every single one of you who sits in the chair, you are not a mystery to us. There's great love for every puzzle that sits in the chair. Question, please.
When you spoke of when we see outside is what we see inside, that has to do with my question. When I was sitting on the Grand Canyon wall this morning looking out, I started crying and feeling I'm with my people. And I also live in Mount Shasta, where heaven and earth truly meet, and I'm with my people there. But what I have challenges with, Kryon, is when I go into the world in the big cities and the electromagnetic frequencies don't resonate with me there, and I feel as if I walk in two worlds, and I don't want to leave here or Mount Shasta. Tell me how to walk in those other places.
The human countenance is learning. And the biggest issue is learning to be more like your partner, who is Gaia. If you take a look at that which you gaze upon, which is a way that is ageless and is beautiful, you feel peace, do you not? What are you pouring into the air, human beings? And what are you polluting the ocean with, human beings? Let me ask you this. Is Gaia anxious? There is something there that Gaia knows and has figured out a great long time ago. And that is what you are to learn. Number one, the human beings must go through gyrations of mistakes in order to find solutions. Number two, that there is an evolutionary process at hand of consciousness, and this evolutionary consciousness shift is a promise that human beings are changing. And part of what they are changing is exactly what irritates you. There is going to be a revolution of common sense. It's going to happen slowly. The revolution of common sense means that there will be an alliance with Gaia that will echo the ancients. You look out upon the canyon as the ancients did. Let me ask you this. What is the first ceremony attribute of any of the indigenous on the planet? And let me tell you what they are. Number one, to honor Gaia, and number two, to honor the ancestors. You are your own ancestor, dear one, because you are an old soul on the planet who is disturbed by what you would call new invention, by things that would seem insulting to that which you know is precious. Know this. These things are in progress of change. So here is my advice to you. Be more like Gaia. Smile when you see these things and know that there'll come a day when they won't be that way. That is what your instructions are. Be at peace with these things. Change what you can in yourself. And let others see your change, so they will see how precious and beautiful it is. Next question.
Hello, Kryon. It's so wonderful to speak with you finally after listening to you for 6 years. Partial translation of works you had done that described the purpose of the lighthouse and how the lighthouse is to embody the light, and that by doing so, those in the darkness are looking for it. At the beginning of this year, I experienced that change. But I have been going through that process for quite some time, but it anchored into me. My question is that the more light I'm anchoring into myself and the more alignment that I'm becoming into, the more separated I start to feel from those around me, my family and my friends, and I find myself crying a lot because I have to let go, and that's hard. I find myself crying a lot because I have to let go, and that's hard. So my question is that how do I better integrate that? How does anyone integrate that change when you're moving into your soul's purpose but leaving everyone else behind?
Another question from an old soul. And it's a good one. How do I answer this that will please you? I cannot. First of all, let us speak of you, the integration that you have described, that is, what you have described and has been more recent than before, is all accurate and true. The events of your life to create it are on purpose. And you find yourself in a strange position. The masters who walk the earth, how do you think their families felt when they started being odd? You're not going to like the answer in one respect, and you're going to love it in another. And I will tell you this, dear ones, those who do not wish to be with you because you are of not like mind with him, you are going to have to love them and let them go. There's nothing you can do to bring them into an enlightened fold if they do not choose to go there. Now here's the good news. Nothing's going to happen to them because they're not accepting you. There is no judgment. And the only reason that you sit and ask the question is because you are sad for you. And you know that. And how can we change that? For they're all right. They're the same as they always were. It is you who are shifting and finding that which is different from what they want. This is the good news. And there are dozens in this room who are ready to be your family. And they will fill the space that empties itself in your heart from those who are retreating from you. Believe me, if you let them, this new family of God is related to you also. I want you to accept this and be peaceful with it. And know that it is appropriate. And so it is.